Hello and welcome to News 6, which is brought to you this week by the 6th grade class at Harpster Elementary. With our first story about school happenings, here's Roger.
The most exciting thing happening in Harpster School District lately is the arrival of a new superintendent, Dr. Richard Kildare. A superintendent of schools is the person who oversees the education of all the children in a school district. And Dr. Kildare has one of the largest districts in the state. 2,350 students in 9 schools are spread out over 300 square miles. And Dr. Richard Kildare takes care of all that. News 6 asks him what his responsibilities are.
Well, I have really quite a few. It starts with the Board of Education hiring me to, with their supervision, run the school district. So when it comes right down to it, anywhere from hiring of the teachers, checking on the curriculum, seeing that the schools are run properly, that the buses are run properly, that the meals are maintained and so forth, all fall under my responsibility, although I have a lot of people helping me.
What is one thing you like about being a superintendent?
Well, I hope there's a lot of things I like about being a superintendent. I think in general, I feel that with hard work and an idea, I can accomplish a lot more as a superintendent than I can as a teacher.
Dr. Kildare has some new things for the school system next year, including honor courses and a move from 7-period day to an 8-period day for the high school. Other things are changing in our area too, and here's Tricia with that story.
It used to be that the subject of drug addiction was a shameful one, not to be discussed. But these days, the topic has come out into the open with the establishment of the Wyandotte County Outreach Program. The program is a counseling service for those addicted to alcohol or other drugs. The counselors there, Mr. James Meinhardt and Mrs. Sylvia Fanschmidt, came and talked to our class about the problems associated with drugs. Mrs. Fanschmidt told News 6 what she does to try and help people.
I attempt to help them to develop a new lifestyle as compared to their old one, such as new friends, new working environment, new living environment, changing their entertainment, say they frequent places where there's a lot of drugs. We work on, developing other alternatives to that.
She said the main thing is that people have to really want to change their lives. She and Mr. Meinhardt do the same sort of things, like seeing about 5 people a day for counseling. Mr. Meinhardt said that he estimates there are 655 male alcoholics in Wyandotte County and less than 30 female alcoholics. Most of the people that come to the Outreach Center are referred there by schools, doctors, or the courts. Mrs. Fanschmidt said that the most damaging drug is alcohol. Harpster is one place where people are trying to get things back to nature, and here's Sarah to tell you how.
The area around Harpster, known as Kildare Plains, was once a marsh where waterfowl and wild animals made their home. But people settled the area and tried to make the land farmland. But then, according to Ohio Division of Wildlife Park Manager Bob Sturgeon,
someone had the foresight to realize that this was, at one time, a natural area. And in the early 50s, it was decided that it should be put back, if at all possible. And this is actually the way it started, again, to try to make the area or put the area back in its natural state.
The Ohio Division of Wildlife started purchasing the land from farmers in 1953, and today, Kildare Plains covers 8,622 acres. It has a large reservoir, 6 fishing ponds, and an 800-acre marsh for waterfowl nesting. Ducks come there to nest every year, from as far away as California, Florida, and northern Canada and Alaska. Rare birds have been there too, such as the white pelican and bald eagle. Besides being a nesting ground, Kildare Plains is also a public hunting and fishing area. The money to operate the park comes from the sale of hunting and fishing license. The name comes from the Kildare bird, who is seen in the area. There is another place in Harpster where you can find natural things, but it is grain, not animals. Our town is the site of a Pillsbury grain elevator, and manager Mr. Wells Cannon told us about the Harpster Elevator.
Basically, the purpose of the Harpster Elevator is to acquire or receive grain from the farms. A large portion of it comes in right during harvest as the farmers are harvesting it in the fields. They bring it on their trucks into the elevator, and we unload it. Corn, for example, is usually wet from the field and comes in 25 to 30% moisture, and we run it through grain dryers that will dry it down to 14 to 15%. At those moisture levels, it can be stored for a length of time. Later on in the year, the grain is loaded out, usually onto the trains, where it goes into the export market. Now, some of it is sold locally and used for feed for those that feed livestock in the area, but most of it does go for the export.
The tallest tower there is 176 feet high, and the entire facility can store 1,400,000 bushels of grain. It stores corn, soybeans, red wheat, and oats. The grain can be stored for a year, and then it is loaded by men 24 hours a day into trains, where it is taken to the East Coast before being sent overseas. The grain stored in Harpster is not used to make Pillsbury products like pastries and cookies, however, and we're sorry it isn't.
Thank you for joining us on News 6 this week. It was produced by the 6th grade class of Mr. Harold Swick at Harpster Elementary. This week marks the end of the News 6 season, so have a happy summer.